Indiana minus 3.5 versus Oregon. The total is sitting around 46.5. We're kind of split here on this game.
I'm kind of starting to lean Oregon. I've seen, obviously, it's sitting now at 3.5, opened 4, got up to 4.5 early in the week, and there's clearly been some sharp buyback on Oregon in this one. I'm torn. Obviously, everything in my body says don't fade Signetti. The guy is just on an absolute roll. This team is firing on all cylinders. But yeah, I don't know. Something about this game, I do think that the matchup favors Oregon a little bit in their passing game, getting some of their receivers back. Indiana has been a bit susceptible to explosive pass plays. I know that isn't necessarily where Oregon has lived this season. No Davidson is definitely an issue. He won't be in this game. If we get good Dante Moore and he's hitting his young, explosive receivers, I do think we could see a bit of back and forth between him and Mendoza in this one.
Yeah, I really think that it's going to come down to coaching at the end of the day, and I think Signetti is the better coach than Dan Lanning. I think that Indiana, just in general, outclasses Oregon in pretty much all sides of the ball. I think they have a better run game, a better quarterback. I think their defense is better than Oregon. I know they looked good against the Texas Tech team, who's not the best offensive team, but they looked very susceptible against JMU, and I think Indiana can exploit their defense. I really think that this is Indiana's chance to show, like, Signetti's been the big like, he's trying to prove his mark on the game and prove that he is the best coach. He obviously came out to play against that Alabama game. That was, everybody on the podcast was on that side, and it was that was a pretty easy game for them. But I feel like it's really his time to prove, because especially with the Georgia loss and the Ohio State loss.
Yeah, this game gives me big shades of Michigan versus Alabama 2 years ago in the Michigan title run. I think that Alabama team was a lot like this Oregon team, and I think that Michigan team was starkly similar to this Indiana team when we look at the metrics. I think they are very, very similar teams, except for one difference. I think Indiana's got NFL receivers that Michigan didn't. And I think, all of that being said, I'm actually going to play the total, but I'm going to cut the game in half. I want to take the first half under 23.5 in this game. I think that both defenses are very stout in the front seven. Both offenses like to commit to the run early. I think Oregon will try to take their shots deep eventually, but I see them both trying to lean on each other, maybe keeping the game a little bit lower scoring. And in the second half, maybe things open up a little bit. So I'm going to stick in the first half. I'm going to go under the 23.5.